and welcome back to my channel 5 Minute Economics, where I teach economic concepts in a span of just 5 minutes. The topic for today is the absolute advantage theory, also known as the Adam Smith theory of international trade. So the last time when I made a video on international trade, which was the Heckscher-Ohlin theory of international trade, you all really loved it. So I thought, why not make one again? So here it is. I'll attach the link of that video in the comment section below. So this topic honestly is a very simple topic and I'll be explaining you to the best of my ability. So quickly, let's get started. Also guys, don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel in case you haven't already. So coming to the introduction of absolute advantage theory. So the absolute advantage theory was propounded by Adam Smith, who's also known as the father of economics, in the year 1776 in his book, The Wealth of the Nation. So basically, what does, by definition, absolute advantage theory mean? It means that when an individual, a company or a country is producing to the best of their ability, that is more efficiently than their competitors. So moving before going ahead to the absolute advantage theory, let me give you a little background. So back in those days in 1770s, what was the norm which was followed in Europe? It was followed that if a nation wants to grow, if they want to increase their wealth, they should all focus on increasing their exports, whereas imports should be curbed, and that way your country will grow. But Adam Smith was highly against this. He said by following this particular theory of mercantilism, few countries will definitely gain, but they will gain at the cost of the others. And he was, he propagated free trade with very less government intervention, and he always wanted to promote this particular theory. He said one should do what you are best at. So let me give you a common life example. So for example, Vidhi, which is me, I am a very good baker, which definitely I am. So in a span of 2 hours, I can maybe bake 4 cakes. So this I've written, it's just hypothetical. And one of my very good friends, she in a span of 2 hours can bake only 1 cake. So she is very slow in baking. But that friend of mine, she is a really fast typist, like she can type at this lightning speed. Whereas I, in a span of 2 hours, will be able to only type 10 pages. My friend would in a span of 2 hours type 25 pages. So what should we do? We should say, ki, acha chalo, in the span of 2 hours, what happens is, I will say I will bake 4 cakes for you. So she will be at an advantage because she would have only baked 1 cake in that time. Whereas I will say, please type 25 pages for me because I can only type 10 pages in those 2 hours. So both of us are doing the best of our ability, and that way both of us are gaining, right? So that is what Adam Smith propagated. He said both the countries will benefit if we follow the theory of absolute advantage. So let us quickly run through the assumptions before we move to the crux of the model. So here Adam Smith has only considered 2 countries and taken only 2 commodities. So basically it's a 2 by 2 model. We have taken free trade, that is there is no excise duty or no tariff, nothing has been levied. Also, we have taken the cost of production as only the labor cost, which we are considering, nothing else. And lastly, our labor is mobile within the country, but immobile between countries. So further moving ahead to the crux of the theory, so guys do pay attention. So here we have taken 2 countries which are India and Bangladesh, and 2 commodities which are shirts and pens. So everything is pretty much hypothetical, okay? So in a span of 1 hour, we've taken 1 hour as our time. In a span of 1 hour, India can produce 10 shirts, whereas Bangladesh in a span of 1 hour can produce only 5 shirts. Coming to pens, we notice that India has, it can produce 25 pens in a span of 1 hour, whereas Bangladesh in a span of 1 hour can produce 40 pens. So from this very table, I'm sure you can guess which country has an advantage of producing what good. So India, of course, is better at producing shirts, and Bangladesh is, of course, better at producing pens. So what does Adam Smith say? He says that the countries should trade the good which they are best at, okay, most efficient at. So here, if they both trade, we notice that India will give 10 shirts and get 40 pens, right? So they will gain because, in 1 hour, India was only getting, producing 25 pens. Now, by giving 10 shirts to Bangladesh, India is getting 40 pens. Similarly for Bangladesh also, it's a gain because Bangladesh in a span of 1 hour was only having 5 shirts, but now by giving 40 pens to India, Bangladesh is now having 10 shirts in hand. So this way we notice both the countries are benefiting from the absolute advantage. Okay, so that is what Adam Smith focused on free trade. He said countries should specialize at those goods whose cost is less than the others. Of course, you should work on improving what you're better at, and then of course trade with other countries. So lastly, moving ahead to the pros and cons of the absolute advantage theory. So one major advantage of this theory was that specialization, which was promoted by Adam Smith, it led to higher productivity in the countries. Next, the lower cost of production was also observed because of economies of scale, because we were producing in bulk. That is, we got the advantage of economies of scale at lower cost of production. Cons, so in economics we always know the assumptions later on jump up and become the cons of the theory. So only bilateral trade, that is trade between two countries, was considered, and not multilateral trade was considered. Only two commodities were taken into account. And lastly, Adam Smith ignored the protectionist measures like tariff and excise duty and so on. So this theory was criticized by David Ricardo, and I will give 10 points for you guessing what will my next video be on. Definitely it will be on the Ricardian theory of international trade, that is the comparative advantage theory, and I'll be back soon with that video. Till then, keep watching.